Let's drink beer. It makes my mind clear. It takes me away from here. Let's drink beer. Let's drink beer. Pump it up, lift it up, drink it up.
Hello everyone, welcome back to The Art of Beer. We are here today with Sarah Burchard. She's a freelance writer, recovering chef, and a champion of local ingredients. So we're gonna have some beer with her. We're gonna talk all things local. So
let's get started.
How's it going?
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm gonna crack a local beer right now. So we got Lean With It from Broken Boundary. Have you had anything from Broken Boundary?
Lean With It.
Yeah.
I like that. Of course, Chris is awesome. We have their Kolsch on tap at Not Sure, where I work in the evenings.
Nice.
And
Kolsch is always a good way to go.
I've done a little tasting there at their brewery in Kalihi. It's good times.
Yeah. So Broken Boundary is over in Kalihi. It's also the homebrew shop.
Cheers.
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 Good Belgian wit. Belgian wit. Basically, if people are trying to think of it, it's think of Blue Moon. It's kind of the most common style that you can refer to as far as a major beer. So it's a Belgian wheat beer. They normally use coriander, orange peel. Super light, super refreshing. It's
Got a little bit of dryness to it too.
Yeah, it should be dry. The
A
yeast
little
comes
like
through.
malty kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a high proportion of wheat in the body of it when they're making it. It's perfect food beer. So it
Very refreshing.
Yeah, it goes great with everything. So speaking of food, you write about food.
I do.
And that's sort of like your life, and it's a lot of local food ingredients.
Yes.
So what's kind of going on in the food scene right now, and what do you see like local-wise that's really popping up?
Local-wise, everybody's just trying to hustle and become entrepreneurs, business owners, open their own thing, starting small at the farmer's market and trying to get into that brick and mortar space. But everybody started really supporting local farms a lot during pandemic, so I see a lot of that right now.
And everybody eating ulu again.
And everybody eating ulu, kalo. We do a lot of that on our menu, and that's kind of like the whole premise for what we do is supporting not only local farms, but also farms that are trying to work in a sustainable way. Any producer, any like rancher, fisherman, food producer that's trying to work in a sustainable way, we support.
What's kind of the hottest or kind of most up and coming like local ingredient right now, would you say?
Ulu's definitely up there.
Or what's the most exciting local ingredient you're seeing coming out, being produced out of the islands right now? It's kind of
Being produced, like grown,
produced, farmed.
Yeah, I would say maybe the Roseville from Mahiki Ranch on the Big Island. So they started producing this a few years ago, and it's not the baby calf that everybody thinks of, this little pink fragile animal that we're like, oh no, and like feeding it milk. It's actually they raise them on grass. They're with their mom like the whole time. It's a very natural environment. There's no steroids or any kinds of antibiotics or anything like that. They, instead of getting shipped off to the continent to get grain finished and then shipped back in little packages, they just kind of end it right there. And so that so that they get to live the whole way out in Hawaii and not do the whole back and forth thing and be grass fed all the way through. So it's actually pretty cool.
We talk about that a lot of time with other beers and things like that. Why making it, shipping it to a bottling plant on the mainland, and bringing it, things like that, cutting out all that back and forth and keeping things local. Works out for everybody.
Yes.
Well, and there's like a long history of ranching and cattle ranching here anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for so long, it was like you said, raise the cattle here till a certain age, ship it off to be finished and packaged and processed over there.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have options here where it's 360 life cycle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and stop talking about meat right now, because if not, I'm gonna want to go get a steak. We're gonna focus on beer. Go get another one. We'll see you guys in about 90 seconds.
Bringing you what matters. Viewers can receive the Star Advertiser digital full access subscription for just $9.95 per month. Go to staradvertiser.com and click on subscribe. Use the code AHITHING.
Welcome back to the Art of Beer. We're here with Sarah Burchard, local writer, local foodie enthusiast, and we're gonna crack into some more local beers.
What we should crack into?
I think we should crack into that Lanikai.
Just crack.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Lanikai as well? Mm-hmm. Yep. So kind of cool. I mean, they're a brewery that is hyper focused on using local ingredients in all of their beers. And a lot of it, what they're doing is actually going and finding the farmers and working with them on like their secondary fruits, which is kind of cool because there's fruits that might not be able to be sold at the market because they might be bruised or they're ugly. They still taste perfect.
Yeah.
And so you can, like this is...
Tackling food waste.
Yeah.
Good for them.
These are perfectly good pineapples that go into, a pineapple sour. And I think they're using white pineapples. So, I mean, you smell this, it almost smells like a white gummy bear, right? Like that kind of like super soft pineapple, but not tart. And but then on the palate, it's tart, it's juicy. It's a good beer.
We had this on the menu at Not Sure when we first opened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of a lot of times with pineapple. It's, in Mexico they make tepache. Slice the and you throw it in.
It does remind me of that.
You let it ferment with all of it, everything that's on the outside of the rind, and you add to it. And you throw some piloncillo sugar in there and just stick it in a jar and come back to it.
It's practically a health drink.
Yeah. So I mean, this really reminds me of that.
Not to drink it.
Yeah. Who doesn't like pineapple and sugar? And,
Probiotic.
I mean, anybody who's into hard kombucha too would love this
Yeah.
because it's kind of in that summer. If you like tequila, you can probably drop a little tequila in there too. It probably tastes amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Tequila.
I'm in.
See, I drank it all already.
It goes down fast.
Someone's not pacing. So we're talking about local ingredients. You were talking about beef and the cow. Like, so what ingredients right now are you seeing that could be like really good use in beer production, right? Because people are using all kinds of ingredients. Is there anything you come across in your writings, in your travels?
I mean, anything that's invasive would be good to use. So I'm trying to think offhand.
I don't think I'm making top beer.
Yeah. Venison beer?
Samoan crab beer doesn't sound so good,
Yeah, no, but I mean, some of the like strawberry, guava, and things like that, like that would be an excellent source to use in beer making.
Strawberry guava could go
very abundant.
Very well, yeah. It's on every hillside, everywhere any hike you go.
Just gotta get people to go out there and hike.
Gotta get the brewers to go out and hike. That's even harder.
gotta get volunteers out there to hike.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a pass on the hike.
Make an interesting beer, right?
It would be.
So in your travels, what are some of the like kind of cool beer places you've been to, or cool beer stories you got?
Let's see. A few years ago, I went to Ireland. And we went to so many different places in Ireland, but we stopped in Dingle for a couple nights, and there was a bar that I don't remember the name, but it was a hardware store. So you could basically say, "Honey, I'm going out to the hardware store," and walk in, legitimately buy a hammer, nails, whatever it is you need to get, and grab a beer and a shot while you're there, and head home.
Get a hammer and get hammered.
So I was going to say, are all the buildings in that town kind of crooked? you got screws that are halfway in. Everybody on every project's going to the bar to get 1/8 screws,
And it's funny because it's like open at night too, and you're like, I don't know if that like excuse would work so much at night because you're like a hardware store that's open at 11 o'clock at night. Ooh, I don't, but you can go in there.
We should open a bar.
Get some
like
tools.
Got a name for it.
flower shop, bar, hardware store. It's got all the things in it, right?
Screws and hops.
Screws and hops. That's a great name.
We're trademarking that. Don't even think about it.
Yeah. It's gonna be the Art of Beer bar. Screws and hops. Well, guys, go grab yourself a beer. Come on back. We'll be back with Sarah Burchard.
For all your money needs, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is here for you. Visit hificu.com.
Windows Hawaii. Trust Windows Hawaii.
Welcome back to the Art of Beer with Daniel Bruce and Tim Golden. We're here with Sarah Burchard from the universe, and probably should practice these. Let's get into the next beer. We got a mead coming up, which is a fermented beverage made with honey that we're pretty stoked about.
So this one's kind of cool because we're going. It's Manoa Mead is the producer, but they're in Wahiawa and they have no hives in Wahiawa. He's got it all over the island. Where he gets it from?
Looks like Gatorade.
Yeah, so they started out with hives in Manoa, but he actually has hives, like you said, all over the island. What he does, he goes to different farms and stuff. So he's got them in Nanakuli, he's got them all over, all up above Haleiwa, and he partners with farmers because they need the pollinators. So he goes out there and has all the different hives from all over the place.
And it's cool because local honey is delicious. I mean, if you ever get something from the store and then you get a jar of local honey from the farmer's market, there's just a night and day difference. So taking that and making some mead with it, you know.
It's supposed to be really good for you too to consume some local honey, like good for allergies and things like that, especially the pollen. Supposed to make you like more like adapt to like whatever kind of is in the air, like the allergens
Because
in
if
the
you go
air.
somewhere with too much pollen, I'm sneezing the whole time. Like, have you ever been to
I don't need more.
If you go to Sacramento, the pollen's everywhere. I sneeze the whole time I'm there. So
What's cool is what he started off as a honey maker, and he got the idea from some people who were there and to start making the mead. And he knew nothing about mead, and he taught himself the whole mead process. It was just unreal, and it's literally down a back alley, kind of, in Wahiawa, and you'd be hard pressed to find it. It's a beautiful little place surrounded by a plumbing store and all these other things, and he taught himself how to make mead, and it's really, really good. And it's dry.
Doesn't he bottle Kohana rum back in there too?
I think he used like the barrel for something.
Yeah.
Or he had. Oh no, I'm sorry. Kohana buys the honey from him to put in their coco leca.
Yeah.
They do the cacao and
Yep.
honey thing, and
That
they get it
stuff's
from them.
amazing.
So it's they have local cacao pods with local honey
Yeah.
onto a liqueur. So
But most of his meads, I mean, a lot of people think of mead and they think really high alcohol, really heavy, sometimes overly sweet. And he had a focus on, I'm going to go lower alcohol. So it's normally in the 7% range instead of like 14, 15, 16. Dry.
And sparkling.
And sparkling,
To
yeah.
make it like a little
Yeah.
bit fizzy so it's like
Yeah. And
this-
refreshing. Yeah.
Okay, it looks like Gatorade, but it smells like lime Gatorade.
Yeah, cheers.
It really does. And I love lime Gatorade.
So this one's orange, rosemary, and a little bit of salt. So you get it. It's like it literally has a very like almost lemon limey or Gatorade-y kind of flavor, but you get a little tint of that honey in the background. But his focus is always like, we're in Hawaii, right? Where it's like you don't want something big, heavy. You want it to be refreshing, and that's why it's sparkling too. And now he's doing cans.
This goes along great with the beers.
Yeah. And it's a great story, like how he's. I mean,
after drinking the pineapple swipe, I would almost think, or pineapple swipe, I would almost think that this is another beer.
Definitely walks that line. And it, very delicious.
it's you got that citrus. I mean, you don't really pick up the rosemary too much, but it's probably there as a background note. And even the salt, like the salt's just kind of balancing something, but it's in there. And considering that the effervescence makes it like really refreshing.
We pair the ginger mead with a risotto that we're doing right now at Not Sure. So the tasting menu, we have 3 different beverage pairings that you can do. And one of them has all local beverages. And so the 4th course gets sparkling mead from Manoa Meads.
And that ginger one's good.
Yeah, it is really good. It's my favorite, actually. Yeah.
What's really cool with what they're doing is when you think about like a local product, it's 100% local. I mean, because mead is just honey and
Yeah.
water
And then fruit.
and fruit,
Or
right?
ginger in that case. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're fermenting it, so it's like honey's here.
Yeah.
And then it's coming from different trees, and he can tell you like what, you know, like in Haleiwa, what's going on around there versus what in Nanakuli, or he has hives in people's backyards. You know,
Doesn't get much more local than that.
You have to have like a cottage license for that.
Yeah, and it's
Well,
cool.
you can do that, but all you can do is you're gonna show up with like a bag of avocados when you go to like, here, Auntie, thank you. I gotta go get some honey. And then you just the trade system, you know, it works. The barter system. There you go.
All right, guys, we're going to take a little bit of a break. Go grab yourself a beer and come back after this.
Ashley is America's #1 furniture store. We have everything you need for your home. At Aloha Kia, you know a guy. Visit us at our 7 dealerships statewide. Purchase a brand new Kia using Aloha Kia Express. Purchase at alohakia.com.
Cool. I hope you got your beer, got your snacks. We're back. We're gonna drink some more beer, talk about food and local everything. So, what are we gonna drink now?
Let's crack that Beach House black lager. Yeah.
Love black lagers.
It's black lager, Schwartz beer. It's basically it's a lager, but they use obviously dark malt, so you're gonna get a lot of that kind of chocolate roast, everything in that. And this is haupia, so they use coconut in it. So it's still a lager. It's still light and refreshing. So it's kind of doesn't have the same dark mouth and a big heavy mouthfeel that like an ale would have, like a stout or a porter. So it actually works, and it probably works really great with the coconut. I haven't had it yet, so this is gonna be our first time trying it.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, dark roasted coffee, bitter chocolate. Coconut's light.
Yeah.
Pretty light on it, which is nice because sometimes I can get a little.
I want to have
overpowering.
like a bagel and cream cheese with this.
Yeah. Got a little like almost like smoky kind of character. Yeah.
I kind of just want
It's like iced coffee.
I kind of just want a chocolate chip cookie. Honestly, I mean, it's like almost having a cold brew and a chocolate chip.
Jay, what would you eat with this?
For a second, I thought almond joy, but that's too easy.
Chocolate cake.
Yeah, chocolate cake. Or even like banana bread
Ooh.
would go.
Pork chop and gravy.
Banana split.
Yeah, breakfast and dessert.
Pork chop and gravy. I'll make the pairing work. I drink anything with that. Let's go to Rainbows after this.
Fish and chips. Pretty good.
Yeah, because it's still light, but it's got like a lot of that roasty character, right? You said it's almost iced coffee-ish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Lox and bagels. Tell us some other pairing ideas. Like when you're thinking of local ingredients and flavors, whether it be wine or beer or whatever, what are you kind of looking for when you're trying to pair things?
I mean, it's like when I'm pairing beer or pairing anything. Yeah. So when I drink or when I eat something that's really spicy, I like super light beers, like a lager, because I just like that kind of palate cleansing, just refreshing. You know, like it's almost like water type thing. When I'm eating something, let's go the other side, like sweet, something more like this. That's why I'm like thinking about the chocolate cake and all that stuff. If I'm doing, I'm trying to think of like maybe like an IPA or something like that, I'd probably pair that with something that has a little bit more, like maybe like your pork chop and gravy, like something that's it needs something like to stand up to it. What else? What other
I'm
kind
with
of
you
beers
when
are
you
there?
talk about spicy, because like, like Thai curry or something like that. It's got a lot of spice to it. I want lighter lager beer with that. 'Cause
I just
also,
always think of like Mexican food and,
Yeah.
and the Tecate or something, you know,
Yeah.
like that's just
it's
such a great
some
pairing.
refreshing that goes with that. And then like, you know, I mean, because if I eat that kind of stuff, I can get like a dry Riesling if I'm doing wine, because that kind of, it's lighter and refreshing, goes with the spice. And so I'm with you on that one. Keep it light.
But then you could like get in like really geeky and, you know, like if you wanted to do like an orange beer or something, like that would be fun with like a charcuterie board, or
Right.
even like if you're like an Italian restaurant and you're like having some pasta or something, that could be good with that. And like you drink it as if it was a wine, you know,
I feel like pasta was like the hardest thing for me to pair and think about.
because it's
beer
so
with.
heavy.
Yeah, and, you know, and the sauce is like you know, like red sauce is nice big, or you go, something
lighter
lighter and creamier or real butter based. So it's kind of, I always found the hardest time drinking beer. And fortunately for me, I like wine too, so I'm just like jump right in and get a bottle of wine instead. But
Yeah, Italian food's probably one of the toughest to pair.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from going with like a lighter Italian Pilsner or something like that, it's tough because, the food's so delicate in a way because there's not a lot of ingredients in them, and the flavors, it's hard because how do you balance that, right? And I guess maybe it's just not something you're used to. You just think, well, wine, you gotta drink wine with Italian food, right?
We're so ingrained just to
Right.
think that
Conditioned for it.
right off
Right.
the bat, yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, but hey, it all works.
Well, looks like TV time is done for today. We're going to head over to our extended edition on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. We're going to talk more with Sarah, Tim, Dave, and we're definitely going to drink some more beers. So come see us.
And we're back with the extended edition. Let's crack open a fun curveball. So what we got there?
Jerry Bear beer.
Boogie Bears.
Boogie Bears.
450 North.
Yes. This is big curveball. So, yeah, here. No. They call these smoothie sours. They're thick, they're heavy, they're...
Looks like orange juice.
Yeah, they're heavily fruited. Yeah. So they're fun. They're fun. I mean, they're all the rave. It's
Looks like you buy it at a rave.
yeah. And actually, if you swirl the can here, let's see. Here, I'll give you a little more because this is where the pulp is.
You'll start hallucinating.
Yeah, it gets thicker.
Wow, looks like mango.
Yeah. So there, that's
It
the
does
thick
look like
one.
mango
Yeah.
juice.
They should actually just sell these at raves.
Well, if you smell it, I mean, it smells like a Jamba Juice.
Whoa.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So much more acidic than I thought it was gonna
Yeah,
be.
well, it has to be,
In a good
otherwise
way.
it would be so cloyingly sweet. It's starfruit, passion fruit, lychee, orange, and prickly pear.
Wow.
But they're thick, so because it's all fruit puree.
This is the gateway beer for
That's it.
for children. Hey kids, this one's for you.
But it's got that tart acidity, right? And
This does taste like I left my Jamba Juice on the counter for like an hour.
yeah,
It's just the,
Yeah, but you
the
won't get
texture,
sick.
right? Yeah.
and it's so it goes. We're getting that range where it's like it's beer, where there's a whole shit ton of fruit in it. It's like, but I mean to do these, it's kind of like when people used to crap on hazy IPAs in the early days, where it's like everyone's like, that's not beer, that's not beer, that's not beer. But like to make one good, it takes like a lot of skill. And I've had a lot of like smoothie fruited sours that just suck. So it's like you start realizing like, oh yeah, it's not just dumping as much fruit into the kettle as you possibly can.
I mean, some of these got to be hard to balance. I mean, balance is everything, whether you're cooking or that. But yeah, the more you just dump more. Let's use this and passion fruit in this, and you got to figure out a way to.
This does not need a pairing. This is an island on itself.
I don't need to pair this. We need like a pool to go in, sit in the pool and drink this out in
Yeah,
the
with
sun.
floaties.
Why are we indoors? Let's go outside.
Have you ever had anything kind of in that like that?
No, never, never.
Have you?
This is
No,
unique.
this is craziness.
Have you?
No.
How much fruit can you put in there before it's no longer like a beer by the TBV? I think does this start to be wine with malted?
It's half beer, half fruit wine.
Yeah.
It's more towards a multi-fruited mimosa than it is.
Mimosa, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It really is like you took passion orange.
The
juice
mango
and,
mimosas,
mango.
the pog mimosa or something.
And I think they're only like 5.3%, so it's not like super high alcohol. It's Dave's mind is
No,
like.
yeah, I'm at that point. Like,
You
why,
drink a couple of these and just go up and down with the can. You got dancing bears.
I'm not mad at it. I'm just like thinking I'm a brewer. How am I getting what made you do that?
Yeah.
What made you put that much fruit in a beer?
Sarah, I think we found your next writing project.
Like,
Smoothie bears and their crazy cats.
And they're great. Yeah.
well, it's probably just like like with IPAs, right? Where it went to the point where they were just trying to see how much hops they could add to something, right? And then it just got to the point where like you were just
It tasted like a Christmas tree.
yeah, and your tongue it was like a cat tongue because it was so bitter, right? You couldn't taste anything.
So are you saying you don't like it?
No. No, I'm just saying, like, how does a brewer get to the point where they're adding so much fruit to it? I think it just, like a lot of them, they would just want to push the extremes. So
Conversation starter.
maybe they went where it was too much and it just tasted like fruit puree, and then they probably backed it off to the point where, like, okay, now this.
I gotta believe
puree,
that
now I'm thinking-
a beer like this it would kill at a brunch spot.
I'm almost thinking it could be like a good element of a cocktail, maybe too, just because I was thinking about fruit puree, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's got the acidity already in it.
Yeah, you don't gotta add much more else, but spirit and like soda water maybe make an
And
Yeah.
interesting fruited highball with
an umbrella or something.
Just toss it in a blender with ice. I bet it'll come out pretty good. I mean, spike it with some rum. You
Here's
know,
your daiquiri. Your blended daiquiri.
dude, you can make a fucking daiquiri with this. Actually, just shake it with some rum.
yeah.
Ooh.
That
There we
would
go.
work out.
Let's just turn it into something completely not a beer.
We're not gonna do that on this show because daiquiris on this show get out of hand sometimes.
But that's also like why these beers are so expensive, because there's so much fruit in it, and it's all fruit puree. That's like you have to buy, and it's like that stuff's expensive.
See,
as
that's
heck.
why they should use the fruit that's going to waste.
Yes, and hopefully they are.
And then
I
they
mean,
could just use free fruit.
Where is this out of?
Indiana.
Indiana.
It's like a couple hours outside of Indianapolis. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Columbus, Indiana.
It's on a farm. I mean, literally, and the farm's address is like 450 North, whatever.
So they have an orchard, probably. or
No,
something.
it's like Cornland Farm.
Oh.
It's
I was
southern.
gonna say there
southern
can't be much
Indiana.
passion fruit and mango in Indiana.
No.
Oh yeah, because it gets like 3 degrees there.
Yeah, it's southern Indiana. It's
Yeah.
actually Cincinnati and Kentucky's
Probably just
below
have a
it.
ton of corn and soybeans.
Yeah, it's pretty flat.
GMO heaven.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
Like
like,
the sides and everything. It's all there.
but that's this brewery got crazy known for making these beers, and people would like line up down the. I mean, they would drive from all over the place. Go to
Well,
this.
they got those
brewery.
long winters.
Oh,
you
it's like
spend
a
the
cult following thing.
Big time.
spend the whole winter thinking about mango daiquiris in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good point too, because it's minus 20 outside, and you're thinking about where you're gonna go in March.
Oh, yeah, and you're just like, ooh, Mexico. It's like you drink this.
As
like,
you're like by the fire with your mittens on.
you're drinking this, you're like, oh, I'm like sitting in Cancun.
Like watching Captain Ron. It's like trying to think of this thing.
Great movie.
Yeah, people like line up. They line up for forever for this stuff. It's kind of crazy what people do for stuff.
It's kind of crazy when you talk about beer and like cult following and things like that. It's we're so used to what Hawaii, like we know what's gonna have a line outside Village for. We know what people are, but we forget about other markets. Like that things like this would kill in Indiana. We're just not used to their trends and what's going on. So
Yeah, the whole Midwest. I mean, and now it's kind of a huge popular thing all over the place. And there's other breweries that kind of make the same styles now. And you think they're adding all these tropical fruits. They're not anywhere near tropical fruits.
Well, we talked about it before. Like, Corona's the #1 selling import in every state except Hawaii.
Yeah.
But their whole marketing campaign is like sit there on the
Sitting
beach
on an
and
island.
be like, well, we can drink whatever beer we want on the beach. Like, we
Yeah, like,
can't
woohoo.
sell that to
It
us.
works in Cancun. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
this is totally a gateway beer, though. People that don't drink beer, they'd be like,
Oh, yeah,
"Oh,
totally.
you like cocktails? Here, have this." It's like the lazy bartender. Make me something fruity here. Drink this beer.
Poured over ice.
I'm not feeling it today. Just drink this. It's fine. That'll be $12.
What's on your cocktail list here?
You like fruit? Drink that.
Just put a little lime wedge.
Yeah, lime wedge and umbrella, no difference.
Yeah, pineapple. Oh.
Piece of bacon.
You know what? It's funny you say that. Some salt. This would need like a touch of salt to it, because all that fruit and the acidity, like a little bit of salt would pop it. So they always talk about the chef's been using salt forever. Like I think this is almost like too sweet.
You know the little the fruited bruschetta things that Cocoa Head serves?
Yeah.
Where it's like the sliced fruit and the cheese and this toasted bread.
Yeah.
Where it's just like that brightness from actual fruit, fresh fruit, and this, and a little bit of salt in there would be
There's the pairing.
breakfast. Back to breakfast.
Fruit Loops.
Or like, even with like French toast or something, right? Like it's just like a fruit jam, like
pancakes.
Yeah.
I bet brunch places would kill this because
Yeah.
like a really good Belgian waffle or French
Or
toast.
a Monte Cristo sandwich.
Oh my god.
With jam and ham and cheese.
So where are we getting food from?
Yeah, seriously. When's lunch?
I was thinking about going to Rainbows, but I think we should go somewhere else after this. Go to Cocoa Head Cafe.
Oh, you got to get your insulin checked after drinking enough of these.
The doctor's not watching. He's going to call me tomorrow. I need to see you in my office at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So, we did a bunch of local in here today. So now, you know, you have a little interest in beer and things like that. If you had to take any of these local breweries, would you want to write a story about like him? I mean, what makes you like decide I should write something, or like do you ever have that interest, or is it just like they come to you? And ask you to write a
Usually,
piece?
when I decide I want to write a story about somebody, I've frequented that place more than a couple times, and even more than that, usually I get to know either the owner or the manager or whoever is like behind the scenes making the thing that I'm so excited about, and get to know them for quite a while before I even approach it with an idea to do an article. So a lot of the articles that I write are about people that I've kind of built relationships with for a while. That being said, I don't have anybody just off the cuff that I'd want to interview, but I do want to learn more about Beer Lab. They work with so many local ingredients, and they do like so many cool collaborations that I think that would be really interesting. Again, that's on we have a lot of their beer on our menu. And I think the other one, maybe Broken Boundaries, just because Chris is a cool guy.
There you go.
I'd like to learn his story.
That's good to know that like writers are doing it for like not all writers, but there's writers that do that for the people based, and then not just like completely interest based.
Yeah,
like,
and I might just be like anomaly
Right.
in that respect. I mean, I love getting to know people and their stories and telling their stories. So first and foremost, I want to like get to know you and see if you have an interesting story, and if it's something that I think that people would gravitate towards, then I'm like, okay, let's do
It's
this.
so refreshing because everyone else seems to be just like they want the friends and family first shoot, you know, on Instagram, posting it before anything's happened. You know?
Yeah.
Like we're literally just walking around the room, making sure that the furniture's in the right space, and
Yeah.
you know, like the food's not ready. I mean, the food's
Yeah.
ready, but it's not like, you know, this isn't who we are.
Yeah, I'm definitely not like a need to be there first type of writer. And I don't even try to be, like that's not even, I Frolic does that really well. And so they, you know, they're always gonna be like the first to whatever. And so that's like not really my angle. My angle is more championing local producers and small mom and pop businesses and small farms, and you know, just the guys that don't get recognized nationally. Yeah.
So with that, we'll just ask you. I'm sure you have more than one favorite, but local small and pop. If you were gonna go get lunch tomorrow, where would you go?
Just lunch, not even beer, just
lunch. What's your go-to, you know, local spot? You know, you're 100% gonna have a great meal. Just any ordinary day, you're gonna go.
Oh man, I'm trying to think, cause oh man, this is tough.
Put her on the spot.
I know. There's so many.
All right, let's go eat after this. Where are we going?
Yeah. I mean, Pizza Daddy is like on, you know, forefront of my mind right now. I love those guys, and they just opened, and so I'm just like thinking about them. And I hang out at Try Coffee a lot, so one of the things I like to do is, you know, I'll go over there and on like a Saturday when Box Jelly is closed, and I'll get a coffee, and sometimes I'll run downstairs and get a pizza from them and bring it up and share it with the crew, you know. And
I was
so
glad when they
that's
opened
fun.
Pizza Daddy because, you know, I get kids and I live in town, so getting up to Mad Benny.
Yeah, and Mad Benny is so good.
And it's so good, but I have
so
young,
good.
My kids eat dinner at like 5 p.m. I'm going to be sitting in traffic to try to get to Capolay to go eat dinner. So
Yeah.
when they opened Pizza Daddy in town, I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
Bao and all those
that
guys,
hot
they're
honey.
great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, and then in the same building, actually, the Taqueria El Gallo Rosso that just opened up. Their food's great.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, some of the best Mexican food on Oahu by far. So.
I go to the Kailua location.
Yeah.
So it's always. I was just telling these guys earlier. I did full on Mexican corn and just lather it with everything and dust it completely. So
Yeah, the first time I went there was on a Tuesday, and I went the next 4 Tuesdays. During tacos, I was just like, this place is ridiculous. It's so good.
it's kind of good because I used to drive to Wahiwa for Mexican food all the time. So I'm like, I don't have to go.
El
to
Ranchero?
Yeah, and Ranchero.
Ranchero or El Palenque. El Palenque is really good too. Right when you first get in, but
Cafe Barrio, you've been there?
I haven't been to that one,
place
but
is
everyone
good.
talks
Is
about how good
it?
that one is too.
Have you been next door to the Jamaican place?
Not yet.
There's I think it's It's either JR's or Junior's. I haven't figured out which is which. But Jamaican jerk, and they do an amazing jerk chicken.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to have to leave it at that. Thanks for joining us on the Art of Beer. Go check out all the local spots, check out more local beer, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us.